Welcome back, everybody, to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA Series. Season 10, hitting double figures for the first time for any ASR series. I'm hoping to be joined by Adrian in a little while once he's here. But we're getting ready to go qualifying at Daytona. And in fact, we've already got a couple of our GT3s out on track already. We're just getting going here. The new tyre model for GT3 this season as well. Remember, that new tyre model going to be absolutely crucial in this qualifying session. And we're going to see what it takes for those drivers to get the tyres warmed up in a session. It's not going to be as difficult as we've seen in GTP, at least that's my understanding. I've not driven any of the new GT3s yet, so we're yet to see how it plays out, yet to see how it plays out in this open qualifying session as well. Do people choose to stay out or do they choose to go in? We've got some new names as well this season, some returning names who are back and raced with us in the past but are back with us once again. That's great to see as well. So we're going to get to see how all of these drivers perform, and all of these drivers perform in their new cars. A couple of drivers changing class from what we're used to as well. Matthias Weiten, multiple-time IMSA iRacing, ASR IMSA iRacing Series champion. Currently in a GT3 for the first time ever. Champion in GTP a couple of times, but in a GT3. They're back with DLR, of course, but in a Mustang. Now an orange DLR Mustang. We saw this last season for one or two of the DLR drivers, and he's setting some purple sectors already on this first flyer today. And let's go on board through the oh-so-famous bus stop chicane. Late on the brakes, cut all of the curves that you can, and jump straight across. And now it's just foot flat to the line here at Daytona through that famous banking of Speedway turn 3 and turn 4. Shorten the run to the line. What can Matthias do? It's going to be our first proper time, so it's going to be our benchmark time. I would expect we'll improve as the session goes on. It's going to get cooler late at night here in Daytona. It's a 1:44.650 for the first time of the day in the Mustang. And Quinton Bossi, 3 seconds behind that on his first fly. That's not what he will have wanted. Daniel Morpete gets a little bit closer. Sanchez slots into P4. Morpete debuting in the Mercedes for this season. Drove a Lamborghini last season, of course. Kiko Lakaye goes up to P2, returning to the series in the BMW. Jamie Rodinson, new to the series as well in the Ferrari. A nice looking blue, gold and black Ferrari for Rodinson. Not a valid lap time though. Last time by as the BMW fires it down the inside into turn 1. We're going to talk about the Pro-Am split when we get into the race. We're not going to worry about it too much now because remember, qualifying just sets a grid for the whole of the GT3 class. Looking at the timing board, trying to see who's setting the good sector times at the moment, and Kiko Lakaye with a purple sector 3 is improving as Rodinson goes for a spin. Let's take a look at Lakaye in that Go Esports BMW. Down into the bus stop chicane, heavy on the brakes, use all of the curb as we discussed on our last trip through here. Morphy with 3 purples goes up to P1 or 43.935 for Morphy in the Mercedes. Chose this car based off a poll in the Discord channel for the Season 10 drivers. So chosen by his rivals. So he'll be happy to see up in P1 in the only Mercedes, Ivan Veska. Down, yet to set a time, a little bit further down the leaderboard, but Ivan also in that BMW, in the Mercedes, sorry. A couple of Acuras on the grid. We've got pretty much everybody, if not everybody, represented. on this grid, which is very nice to see. It's a similar story in the hypercar class. But we'll get to that in the hypercar session, of course. In this GT3 qualifying session, this open session, they've got 14 minutes of running and a 2-minute changeover period before we'll see the top class cars, the GTPs, come out on the track. But a lot of cars on the track here. Just trying to work out exactly how many GT3s we've got. It looks like it's about 23, 24. We'll see once everyone's got a time on the board. But really nice to see a healthy GT3 field. We're going to get good fights in AM and Pro this season. Ivan Veska in the second Mercedes goes up to P4. So there's clearly pace for the Mercedes around Daytona. And is this a Go Esports Mercedes as well? Take a look off board. It is. First time we've seen a Go Esports Mercedes in this series. Matthias Whiten improves in second place, but doesn't topple the pole sitter at the moment. Still have hoped for a little bit more. A lot of drivers resetting to the pits now to go out for a second run of the session. So these drivers still feeling like it's better to change tyres at that halfway point. Senna Botkoven, the AM champion from last season, is back once again. It's a new car for Senna in the Porsche. It looks good in that metallic blue and white. The Velotti racing car pushing on. Green sectors around. Daniel Morphy, Callum Lux, we missed that in the McLaren. Went to pole position. It's a 43.755. Daniel Morphy, though, improving behind. It's a yellow sector 1 for Morphy, but it's green in sector 2. It's purple in sector 3. On the run now towards the bus stop chicane. Can he pick up a toe from the Porsche in front? He might be. He's flashing the lights. If you're on a slow lap, get out my way. The Porsche does. Down into the bus stop chicane, rushing along the wall. Open up the corner as much as you can. Swing it through the bus stop all over the curbs, and it's a little bit wide, but Daniel Morphy avoids the slowdown. But does he pick up a 1x? I think he got away with it. Picked up a 1x on his previous run, but not on this lap. Morphy will push on through Speedway turn 3 and 4. And now will probably make the run to the line as short as he can. Stay close to that yellow line, and he is. He's not going to start another flyer straight away, I wouldn't imagine. Although it cuts back up to go. Oh, it does. Cuts back to the normal line into turn 1. So it's going to be successive laps for Morphy, who improves, but it's not quick enough for pole position. But Dominic Knockel in the Jens brothers competition McLaren is quick enough for pole position. And Miguel Cerqueda goes up to P2 as well. Pro cars make up the top 10 at the moment. Ivan Veska in that Mercedes is the highest placed AM car as they run right now. Senna Botkoven and Carlos Villarejo, the championship rivals from AM in last season, bumped up to Pro for this season's competition. What can both of them do? Behind a couple of the AMs at the moment, so we're looking to move up the leaderboard a little bit, and Carlos Villarejo in that BMW is on track to do that. Picking up a handy tow here from the Audi in front. That's a DLR Audi, if my eyes don't mistake me, under the lights here at Daytona. And this is going to be a mega tow for Villarejo. Who is just going to get pulled to the line now. And in fact, he's getting ready to overtake the Audi. So powerful is the tow around Daytona. Pulls out. Make sure he doesn't have to lift off of the line. Comes across the line. Villarejo was P16, is now P12. Ivan Vergara in the AM class ahead of him and pulls ahead of the Audi into turn 1 to start his next lap. Morphy improves, but sits P4. Look how tight the top 4 is at the moment. Less than half a tenth separate the top 4 on the grid. The McLaren's looking strong. I think we all expected. looking for more improvement on the board, but people are struggling at the moment. Anthony Caranta in the BMW for Jakim Racing picked up a couple of greens, but it's a yellow sector 1, but only driver to be really improving out on track at the moment is green in sector 4 as well. So just a bus stop and the run to the line now for Caranta, who'll be looking to improve. 22 cars that have set lap times now, 3 more yet to do so. Oh, Caranta goes round in turn 2. BMW couldn't handle the power he was putting down. Back to hit pit lane for him. Just a minute and a half left in this session. Miguel Sequeira was improving but has pulled off the road. So got a slowdown in the bus stop in what will have been his final qualifying attempt. Apologies, everybody. We are we are pretty much up and running here at ASR, but a PC rebuild in the last week for me. So just finally got some of those logos that we were missing on the screen back on off the screen, back on the screen now. It's good to see. Simon Scholten improving out on track. Currently sits P20 in that Audi. Lots of green this lap. Yellow in sector 4. Was quicker on his last lap than his qualifying time so far. It must have picked up a 1x. Nothing like that on this lap. See a message from race control pop up, but at the bottom of the screen. So we've missed that. Apologies. Try and get that box fixed for you. Pulls off the road. Simon Scholten moving up to P15. Nico Lakaye in the BMW event will take pole position, as I can see. One car still circulating. That's a 90 of Marco De Vita to get a valid lap in. We've missed Dio from this session, unfortunately. Not sure. Not sure why Dio is missing today. Was in practice. James Roddington unable to get a valid lap time in. Same for Marco De Vita. Nico Lakaye was pretty dominant pole position, actually, given where we were at the halfway point in that session. Daniel Morphy will start alongside him in the Mercedes, and it's the 3 McLarens behind of Knockel, Cicada, Lux, then Sanchez and Viton, P6 and P7. Casando, P8. Vessel Bekema, P9, Michael Kellenberger, P10, Ivan Vesga, P11, and Jose Carlos Villarejo, P12.
Thank you.
Just been told by our race director that Dio preparing for the Majors 24, competing with ASR in the Majors 24. Maybe talk a little bit about that in the warm-up, but he had a new wheel delivered today, I believe. So just trying to get it all working, so he's probably going to miss the race, unfortunately. Right, GTP's out on track now. Well, let's take a look at the lovely new ASR livery for Brody Maynard. Now, remember, GTP still on the same tyre model they were on last season. That incredibly difficult tyre model, but takes at least a lap and probably two around it to try and get tyre temperature. So we'll probably see the out lap and then at least one warm-up lap before we get some proper push laps from drivers. It means the hybrid won't be fully deploying yet as well. Brody Maynard taking a very wide line. Brody following Quinton in the Ferrari ahead. It's a good little segue actually into the Majors 24 news. So ASR will be fielding a team in the Majors 24 this year. Racing this weekend. We'll hopefully have some sort of stream up, probably from a driver's perspective, for at least some of the race. So come along and join us. It'll probably be on one of our drivers' Twitch channels or on our team Twitch channel. But keep your eye on that. It's going to be me, our race director Andy, also racing. Brody Maynard in the GTP category here, racing with us. Quinton Verdonk as well. And as we discussed very briefly a moment ago, Dio, who racing in the GT3 in the IMSA series this season, will be trying out the GTP around Le Mans this weekend. Keep your eye on the Discord channel for some broadcast news. Quinton Verdonk setting the pace though in that Ferrari. The Vulcan Motorsports comes across the line, sets the banker lap, as we'd call it around here, and it's a 1:35.859. And I think now we're going to see some proper push laps. Not really mentioned it as well, but some first timers in this session as well in GTP. Kevin Versantvoort, new to the ASR series, and Van Mulebroek returning, Ricardo Riva returning, but in a new class. Matteo Lemire returning, but for the first time in ASR history, Matteo not driving the GT3 and is in fact in track team racing. So see how that goes for Matteo in that beautiful white and yellow Cadillac. So a lot of pace out there from different drivers. Nicole Monti, purple in Sector 1. Quinton Verdonk, purple in Sector 2 and now Sector 4. And Brody Maynard was quickest in Sector 3. That's now been nicked away by Ricardo Riva. So an incident for number 90 is under investigation. That's in GT3. That's Marco De Vita. Apologies that you cannot see those race control messages. I'm working on getting them up for you if we can. Just the problem of this setup not being saved properly. Trying to rebuild it from where we are, but we'll keep you updated on anything that comes through from race control. Quinton Verdonk still the pace setter. That last lap of 34.059. Interesting to see who does two runs here and who sticks with the tyres the whole time. Brody Maynard purple in Sector 1, but losing out a little bit to his previous run in Sector 2, although he was one of the quickest in Sector 2 last time by, so don't read into that too much. Purple in sector 3 for Quinton Verdonk, who everybody's still improving as the tyres come up the temperature. Oh, loose over the curves for Quinton Verdonk, but keeps it pointing in the right direction and doesn't pick up a slowdown or anything like that. That's an incident for number 21, Dominic Knockel, that's under investigation as well. Improvement sent from Quinton and most behind him, 33.598, as the tyres just get warmer and warmer in this session. Expecting a dry race here, as you would hope for the first race of the season. We'll talk a little bit about the calendar potentially during the race as well. Quinton Verdonk looking to improve even further on this lap. It's 2 purples on your screen, it's 3 yellows on the race control software, so this is going to be a mega lap, and it's a 33.319 for Quinton Verdonk. Moves himself 8 times clear of the field. Improvement from behind. Brady Maynard does not, well, does improve, but must have picked up an off track somewhere because that lap did not count. Just one class in today's GTP field is for this season. Bunch them all together. The pace is pretty competitive from every driver. Whoa, spin for Quinton Verdonk on the entry to the oval. The tyres have had enough, but he's gonna get it pointed back in the right direction, try and bring those rear temps down and keep on going. Ricardo Riva in the lovely blue and yellow Porsche is finding speed out there when no one else can. It's green in sector 1, it's yellow in sector 3, but it's purple in sector 2 for Ricardo. Raced in GC3 with us before. Nice to see a mix of manufacturers as well. We've got only one BMW, only one Acura, and only one Porsche, and a couple of Cadillacs, Ferraris. But a mix of all the manufacturers, which is great to see. Ricardo goes to P3 with that most recent lap, as it looks like this is a bit of a recharge lap for most drivers. Build laps all around. Ashad and Van der Moelenbroek improved, though. The top 8 all within a second of each other as they run right now. Great to see. All right, looks like we've got those race control messages sorted. Apologies for the short break in commentary. Just trying to get that working. Albert Preem in the Acura was absolutely flying on that most recent lap. Free purples, sorry, to put him to the top of the timing board in the Acura. Rubs against the wall as he pulls over to get out of the way. We've just got about a minute left in this session now for these hypercars. So this is probably going to be the last lap. In fact, will be the last lap for anybody that is starting one, and will be the last lap as well for Brody Maynard, who runs strong here in the Cadillac. Driver won the AM Championship last season. Well, it's showing a purple on my screen in Sector 1. It's a couple of yellows to follow that, but there is potentially time here for Brody to improve. Remember, he invalidated a quicker lap earlier on as well. So those sector times will be being compared to. Through the bus stop chicane, fully committed all over the curves, and it turns nicely all across the front axle. And that's checkered flag in GTP. And Brody unable to improve, so stays P3 right now. And no one really improving behind. There's a couple of drivers still out on laps. Matteo Lemre is one of them. He's been hounded by the perhaps slightly quicker Ferrari behind him, who backs off. No way to improve for the Ferrari then. All right, that's going to be our grid then, although Samir Shad is still on a flyer, just made it to the line in about the right amount of time, I would assume, if he's still going. Unless he's already taken a checkered flag. It's hard to tell on there, but he's showing pace, if not. But actually looking at where he is on track, I would... He has already taken a checkered flag and he pulls off the road. That's done. All cars within 105% is the message from race control. It means all cars will be starting the race. See, we're at 10 hypercars, 32, potentially 34 GT3s. Those that didn't qualify to start the race, we would assume that they will. Right, getting ready to go here. Warm up underway, and all of the cars that can file out of the pit lane.
Special weekly reminder, you will get very bored of this end of the season. The race does not start on the green flag. The race will start when your class leader goes within the start zone. This means the Geico start zone. We asked for it to be GT3 pole system, which is Kiko. Congratulations. But you leave roughly between a 20 to 25 second gap to the hypercar field ahead of you before the race starts. And we asked about the pole systems in both classes. You run the pit limiter from the point where the banking flattens out, so where the cones are on the left, until you go within the stop. For the rest, all that remains is to say, have a good and enjoy.
Our race director, Andy, there, giving his weekly reminder to all of the drivers that the race does not start on the green flag, and it starts when...
The car 21 and 19 in GT3 will be starting the pit lane, so if you are gridded up behind one of them, you can drive forward into the gap as you're doing the collision lap.
Reminder for everybody there that the race does not start on the green flag, and there is a start zone that's been given by race control. That is the Geico start zone. Fortunately, the advantage of running at a Roval, tend to have a NASCAR start zone, which works pretty well, so visible and easy to view for all of the drivers, which is what we like to see. And let's run you through the grid for qualifying. Go through GTP first. So, as we said in the session, Quinton Verdonk will start on pole position, just ahead of Albert Preem. Half a tenth separating the two. Brady Maynard in P3, alongside Ricardo Riva. The third row will be shared by Samir Ashad, Vincent van der Meulenbroek. Pete Preens lines up in 7th place. Vesandvoort starts P8, Monty P9, and Lemray in P10. And it doesn't look like we have a GT3 qualifying order. That is my fault. But let's have a look at the grid. Anyway, Kiko Lakaye will get the points for pole position in GT3 Pro. Ahead of Morpete, Knockel, Cicada, Lux and Sanchez make up the top 6. Viton on his GT3 ASR debut will start P7 ahead of Alberto Casada. Bakema P9, Kellenberger P10, Villarejo in P11, Botkoven in P12, and Dio Trevillaes not setting a lap time, and I believe participating in the race. GT3 AM, the points for pole position will go to Ivan Veska, then Luca Picardi will pick up the 2nd place points. Ben Gronevel behind the front row for points, that is, and Weinbergen in P4, Gak P5, Scholten in P6, Caranta in P7, Bossi in P9, Bertolini in P10, Rodison in P11, and Davita in P12. The car number 21 and the car number 90 will be starting the race from the pit lane. Let's get those car numbers up on screen for everybody so that you all know who is who. And you know what, let's just do a little bit of fiddling with the timing tower. Get all the information we would ever like. Screen. There you go. So car number 21 is Dominic Knockel in the GT3 Pro category. Then the car number 90 is gonna be not on the timing board because of where they are placed. Let me find the number 90 for you right now. Number 90, Marco De Vita, who was unable to set a time, remember, in that qualifying session anyway, has already set a time in performance session for that. But it wouldn't matter anyway because he's starting from the pit lane for an impeding incident. Race control reviewed during the GT session. Dominic Knuckle has spoken to race control about starting in the pit lane, and it's all sorted. On the radio there, but that didn't come through on our end. Get ready to go racing at Daytona. Back at Daytona, didn't race Daytona in season 9. It was first for ASR. Well, we don't always race Daytona, but it felt like a very long break we had for last season. Back at Daytona to start off season 10. 10 seasons celebrating this season of the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series. We've got an Acura and a Ferrari front row in GTP. W and a Mercedes front row in GT3. Jose Carlos Villarejo a little bit out of position in GT3. Will be starting behind Ivan Veska, who is an AM driver, and Senna Botkoven even further down the order, starting right near the back of AM, but pro driver for this season. Right, the leaders are away. Short formation here, so these GTP drivers will be dragging the brakes and just trying to get any temperature they can into tyres. It's going to make for an interesting turn 1. Incident already under investigation, and that's 4 contact already today. It's another one under investigation from race control. We're just following these drivers to the start. The safety car will peel off shortly, which means that Quinton Verdonk will dictate the pace. And we're in the Geico Star Zone, and Quinton Verdonk goes early in the Star Zone and jumps away from the second place driver of Albert Preem very, very effectively. Brody Maynard's going to have a look down the inside into turn 2. Is he into turn 1? Sorry, no. Thinks better of it. It's all fairly neat in GTP through turn 1. Everybody through cleanly. Our GT3's a slow getaway. Actually, there's still... we got a yellow flag out in GTP, but it looks like everybody through safely. As Quinton Verdonk has held the lead. Side by side going into the kink here, and the Ferrari is going to try and stick it round the outside, and on cold tyres it's impressive to see these GTPs going side by side through there. We're going to battle on out front as well. A poor exit for Quinton Verdonk from the second horseshoe, and they're going to be alongside, and Albert Preem is going to try and get around the outside at all. During this, the GT3s are going into turn 1. Let's take a look at what happens in the pack. Big pack, loose from the Jens Brothers competition. Audi there, lots of wiggles, and we've got a big problem further back. We've got multiple cars off and into the barrier, unfortunately. Quinton Verdonk stayed ahead in that lead battle in GTP. We're trying to work out what's going on at the back of GT3 here. We've got a lot of cars off the road and trying to recover. Side by side into the second horseshoe. Callum looks on the inside. Senna Botkoven with another moment off in the gravel, and we're going to spinning BMW as Sergio Sanchez Cachafiero off at the... it's turn 6, isn't it? The entry to the oval. Quinton Verdonk's maintained the lead in GTP. Matthias Weiton trying to make his way onto the podium early in the GT3 field. GT3 Pro drivers battling out here on the way to the bus stop. Does the Mustang have enough speed in the toe? No, he doesn't. He's going to have to try again into turn 1. Ivan Veska up high. Veska, I've already picked up a slowdown, but I think it was just a poor exit out of the bus stop. Devita on the radio, not happy with something. We're going to try and take a look at what happened at the start of this race with a few incidents being caused here. Veska must have damage or a slowdown of some sort that's not showing up for me. Sorry, yes, Veska does have a slowdown here. That's why he's dropping down the order. The pole sitter in Am tumbling down the timing tower and goes deep in turn 1, trying to hang it on, but keeps it on the track. Team and Scholten trying to make his way around the outside now to move up into P4, but Veska has enough grip on that inside line to stay ahead and will stay ahead into the kink, crucially, where they will have to go single file. GT3 is just able to go flat through there, but he's going to have a look down the inside. Is Scholten? No, he doesn't. Veta has served a black flag penalty. Not sure what Devita picked up a black flag for. See if we can work that one out. I think he may not have served a slowdown quick enough. Something like that. Picked up a black flag, unfortunately. Mateo Lemeroy and Vincent van der Moelenbroek are battling it out here. Van der Moelenbroek trying to go around the outside, squeezes the Drakkeen Cadillac to the inside, and they bump wheels again. And is there going to be more contact? Van der Moelenbroek on the radio. He's not happy about what went down then. Need to see how that all became, because let's go back just a couple of moments ago. This is Mateo Lemeroy getting past for the first time on the brakes, down the inside into turn 1. And gets ahead of the DLR driver. No, he doesn't. Just has to. Oh, and does get ahead in turn 2-3 chicane. Very difficult to go too wide through there in GTP. But then a little bit deep at the horseshoe, which is what brings the DLR driver back into this battle. And Mateo being pinched down. I think Mateo felt like he was squeezed a little bit on the entry there. Hence the hip check through the kink. But is ahead now. Nicole Monti tumbling down the order. What's happened to Monti? I think Monti's been into pit lane for a repair. So he's just trying to move his way back up the order now. It's getting feisty at the front now in GT3. Miguel Seceda trying to defend from Matthias Weiten, who's got a mega run here in the Mustang, but just doesn't seem to have the top speed when he pulls out and lifts off. He's saving fuel here. This is a smart play here. Daniel Morpy's also dropped back from Kiko Lakaye a tiny bit, but look how packed this field is, all the way down from 1st to 5th. The number 90 drove into another car on the grid. Probably why he's just served another drive-through. He wasn't even meant to be on the grid. Was given a pit lane start. Mateo's trying to get it done into turn 1. There's a car coming out the pit lane. He's going to get spicy on the exit if they're still too wide. And no, they're not. But it's wide for Daniel Morpy as well ahead, who tried to have a look on Kiko Lakaye. But that's going to open up the door for for Matthias Weiten to take P2 away. And he is going to take P2 away if he can get the power down on the exit. But it gets a little bit squirmy. And Daniel Morpy's going to be able to stay alongside in that red Eagle Mercedes. And he's going to bully his way ahead into the kink. And he does so, as this pack is so tight. Any mistake from any driver is going to cost them dearly, and Daniel Morby was lucky to hold on there, and in fact he's fallen out of touch a little bit. Out of touch 8 tenths, but still out of touch relative to the rest of the field from Kiko Lakaye, and this could cost him on the way into the bus stop if he can't get a little bit closer on the exit. He does get a decent exit, but he needs to hope that he can tow himself along now, and look at that gap, it's growing. Quinton Verdonk's been able to extend his lead out front a little bit. Now GTPs are getting ready to catch the back end of the GT3 field as well. Race leader lapping cars now. Only 7 minutes into this race on lap 5. Seen so many times last season, this is where the opportunities come if you're the second place to third place driver. And look, it is going to be an opportunity, I feel, for Albert Preem, because he didn't get held up in the bus stop and he was able to keep his foot in, and that gap's come down at least 3 tenths since the start of this lap. So Albert Preem is going to get a mega run here, and Quinton Verdonk clears the BMW. And he's going to survive into turn 1, it looks like, with that straight line speed in the Ferrari being what it is. Able to stay ahead, crucially for him. Straight line speed making a big difference around Daytona, of course. Black flag cleared for the number 90. Been given 2 black flags and stop go for failing to start in the pit lane, and a drive through for causing a collision on the grid. Got the number 90 so far down the order. Luca Pickard trying to move past another pro driver here. That's Miguel Toledo. Oh, Miguel Toledo takes a spin on the entry to the bus stop. Oh, he's on the grass. This is going to be such a difficult rejoin, and race control, we know how little they like an unsafe rejoin, and he's going to have to try and find a way to get back on safely, and it looks to me like he has done so. Daniel Morphy is right on the tail of Kiko Lakayi here, but has to back off a little bit into turn 1. It's a penalty for Quinton Bosi for causing a collision. That's on lap 1.
Race control, did I got the penalty or the other car?
Weinbergen just checking who got the penalty. Oh, and it's getting all feisty here as the race leader gets through, P2 gets through, and this could open up an opportunity for Daniel Morphy. Pete Preens on the radio. Andy, please check to the race director. As for this incident here that Pete is asking to be investigated, and it's the GT3 running into the back of him. This incident also under investigation. Oh, that's what sped Toledo around the first time, and that's why he went for a spin in the bus stop as well. This incident, this is the lap 1 incident, I believe, that's under investigation. Oh, and there was a spinner in front, and that's what sort of set it all off. Is that Ivan Veska, I believe, in the Mercedes? There's too much going on here. We'll wait to see what race control say and then come back and have a look. I'm joined by Adrian. Adrian, great to have you with me. I'm just going to see if I can get my screen on for you. How are you doing today?
I am great. I am well. Thank you. You're not showing it properly.
You have joined. I'm going to try and get it for you. There we go. You should have it now. There we go. Yeah, you joined a very chaotic and exciting race. Race lead is now out to a second as they've made their way through the traffic, but the GT3 field is very tightly packed. Ivan Veska currently runs P3, but is just 4 tenths back from Melvin Gak ahead in GT3 AM. Oh, tell you what, Adrian, I have not had a breather since this race started. We've just been trying to take a look at some of the incidents that were put under investigation in the race. Had a look at this. Quinton Bosi was given a 10-second time penalty for this incident here. This incident here, we just missed it. Both.
Oh.
I think that must have been for an earlier bit of the incident for Quinton Bosi. There was a lot going on in turn 1. But everyone seemed to get out of it all right, and we're going to pass for the lead. Melvin Gack is past Luca Picardo in GT3 AM with a solid move down the inside. Let's take a look at the overtake. The Audi just getting a run. Gets to the inside. It's kind of hard to hang it around the outside in the bus stop. And they're side by side again on the run to the line. Yeah, the BMW on the outside. Straight line speed looks to favour the Audi right now, and the Mercedes behind. I think that's a lapped car, is it? Trying to unlap themselves. Just sensing an opportunity here, and does slides through on the race leader. Wow. Got more moves further back. SL Backer making a move on Callum Lux. Side by side in GCB now. Matteo Lemire and Kevin Versandvoort getting a little bit feisty at the back here, and Versandvoort makes the move into the second horseshoe. Lemire will be looking to fight back on the run into the bus stop, but carries a little bit too much speed and gets a little bit loose on the entry to the oval. Go on board with Tiemann Scholten. Trying to get past Ben Groneveld ahead. This just shows you how steep that banking really is. Hard to pass the McLaren in a straight line, it seems, perhaps unsurprisingly, as Albert Preem sets the fastest lap of the race out front and takes 2 tenths out of the race leader as doing so. Matteo Lemire, though, is fighting back. Matteo Lemire is bouncing off the rev limiter, but can't get the move done into turn 1, unfortunately.
We can get the move down into the hairpin. Let's see how brave he is on the brakes. No.
A good run through the kink, though. Might give him an opportunity. Remember, the Ferrari does have the straight line speed, but the Cadillac's so strong on the brakes that you can come from such a way back and surprise a Ferrari. And you can see Matteo braking later, trying to get some clean air around the outside, but it's not going to be enough, and it's so hard to get a run into a corner in that car. Melvin Gack and Ivan Veska battling it out again, as Veska gets past and retakes the lead after that slow turn 1 where he dropped right down the order. Has battled his way back through the field and he's trying to get back into the lead. Can't make it through ahead into the kink. Remember, these GT3s really will struggle to go more than single file through that kink. And look how tight this field is. This is first to third that you can see on screen, and a pro driver in the mix as well. Simone Bertolini a little bit down the order, sets a purple lap time in GT3 AM, so fastest of the AM drivers right now. A little bit down the order, and the lead has come down even further. At 6 tenths taken out of the leader on that last lap, and that lead now down to just 2.5 tenths. We're going to keep an eye on that gap as well. Making their way through the infield now. Such fine margins in the pro field, Adrian, as we've seen throughout the last few seasons. These top guys, any small mistake will open up an opportunity for someone to get through, and the nature of the Daytona International Speedway is it keeps you all nice and tightly packed up, and Ivan Veska has got the straight line speed to fly past the Audi, but hits that wall of air that we always see, comes all the way to the outside to try and sweep past in the braking zone. And is he going to be able to do that? No, the Audi's going to keep his nose in, and Veska is going to be unable to complete the move again. Matthias Weiten back up onto the podium, but is side by side with Vessel Bekema into the kink, and who is going to brave it out here? Matthias Weiten gets the move done ahead in the Jens Brothers competition. McLaren is going to try and come down the inside. Callum Lux trying to steal the spot away from Bekema, who tried to attack to get on the podium, but it's going to cost him a position here. Surely. Can the McLaren stay ahead on the brakes? Does so side by side onto the oval though. Who will Mateus choose to give the toe to is going to be crucial here, and comes down, so the Lamborghini will get the toe, and look, already pulling ahead on that shorter line as well. Oh, was there contact there? These two getting very, very close. I think there's a bit of bump drafting potentially going on there. Let's see if we picked up any incident points. No incident points picked up, but yeah, that sure looked like bump drafting to me, didn't it?
It could be a 0x. Might not be you picking up on the reader, but they were definitely just on each other's bumper.
Matteo Lemire off the track in the infield. What happened to Matteo? Fighting with the DLR Cadillac. That's Vincent van der Merwe. Oh, got loose on the exit. An easy mistake to have. Sorry, that was on the first horseshoe. Unfortunately, avoids spinning back onto the track. That could have been an awful lot worse for Matteo. Callum looks and Vessel became still going at it, and that's to go esports car trying to have a look behind. Oh, and a spin for Bekema. It looked like there was contact in the corner, and then it sort of was avoided. And Vessel having to do a 6-point turn nearly here to try and get back on the road safely, and does so. Let's take a look at that incident. Oh, he ran into the back of the McLaren.
He just drives into the back. Carries too much speed and...
It's not a very good angle. Oh, I think he gets into the back of the McLaren in front, doesn't he? Wow, what a strange incident. Melvin Gack has also had an incident while we've been watching this. Remember, Melvin Gack was leading in AM, or at least fighting for the lead in AM. Oh, and drops it on the exit of the second horseshoe. What a bad lap for Drag Team Racing, 2 cars that were fighting for position, going the wrong way round. Still, they battle it out. Sorry, that is the GTP of Peter Preens trying to make his way back through the GT3 field after having to tow to the pits on lap 1. Callum looks just trying to settle back into a bit of a rhythm here as the GT3 field has spaced out a little bit. To the pit lane from the lead, Albert Preem and Quinton Verdonk. Both of our lead drivers into the pit lane. Now it's going to be a battle on pit lane. These guys were close. Ricardo Riva and Samira Shad follow them through. And I think we missed it as well, but Brody Maynard, I believe, pitted on the previous lap. Oh no, Brody Maynard pitted a few laps ago, about 5 laps ago for Maynard. So he's doing that alternate strategy that we saw last season a couple of times, Fox, where we had a driver come and do the short stint at the start of the race because it gets you out of the traffic and just lets you put in good laps consistently.
Also, we missed the radio call for Vallejo pleading to race control to look at the incident. What lap was it?
Yeah, let's take a look. I think this is the incident for Villarejo. It would be if we were looking at the right car. This is the incident for Villarejo.
Yep.
Looks like it's going to be side by side into turn 1, is it? This is what... Oh, yeah. This is what's just being put under investigation, I think. I can see why he wanted that looked at. That was about 2 minutes ago. He's probably wondering why race control hadn't put it under investigation. Let's take one more look. Hard to call. Both side by side.
Hard.
Yeah, it's very hard to call. Race control will look at all of the onboards and everything, of course, to try and come to a better... They've got more angles to look at than us, so we can get a better view of what's going on. Daniel Morphy on the back of Kiko Lakaye here for the lead now in GT3 Pro. I'm going to be interested to see some of these GT3s on their fuel tank. They're more able to make it to half race distance. So I think we'll see a couple of these guys who were doing the fuel saving try and make it to half race distance. The driver currently sat in P3, Matthias Weitern, was famous in his GTP days for doing a one-stop strategy when we had a tank that made it very difficult to do a one-stop strategy in GTP. So let's see if he tries to pull off the one-stop here in his first GT3 race of the season. Quinten Verdonk retakes the lead as Vincent van der Moelenbroeke finally dives to the pit lane. That gap, 5 seconds out in front. Not sure if that's pit stop time. Let's take a look at the pit lane time of those cars. No, identical pit lane times. So just a better outlap perhaps for Quinten Verdonk, and identical stop times for Albert Pri and Quinten Verdonk. So both drivers taking just fuel in that previous stop. Nico Lakaye pits, Daniel Morpy stays out, Matthias Weitern also in, so not going to try and pull off that one stop. Brody Maynard has just made a move on Ricardo Riva. Yeah, over and under for Brody Maynard in the ASR Cadillac. Tries to pick up a little bit of a tow here from the GT3 ahead. They're going to stick it out side by side. Brody Maynard gives lots of room on the inside, but swoops ahead on the way in to the second horseshoe. Simone Bertolini has had an incident on the pit exit.
Riva and Maynard side by side going into the bus stop.
Oh, and Maynard lets him through, but he's now getting hassled by Samir Rashad from behind. So hard, as we said earlier on, to go side by side through that bus stop. Practically impossible. Remember, Brody as well in the Cadillac won't have anything to answer the straight line speed of Samir Rashad, but might be able to fight with the Porsche a little bit better. Will be strong on the brakes when it gets to turn one, though. It's the rev limiter again in the Cadillac. We've heard it a couple of times, but he's going to try and go down the inside. No, he's not, but defends successfully from Samir Rashad behind, who has no answer in the Ferrari once they get into turn one.
Thinking about the pass and the defense, you have to fight two cars at once. You have to prioritize. The defense in that scenario, I'd say.
Yeah, a very, very difficult situation to put yourself in. You kind of can't choose where you want to defend as well. You're kind of dictated by what the car in front does to try and defend against you.
On traffic.
Seen traffic affect the lead and battles for position in this race already, and it's going to here because the Audi GT3 is at the 99.
It's the 99.
Yeah, Melvin Gak, that was the leader in AM before his spin, is going to put a big gap of 3 seconds. It is in the end between Riva and Maynard, and that's going to make Maynard so vulnerable to the Ferrari. He's not going to have any tow. He's flashing the Audi ahead. Don't you dare get in my way this time. Had enough of Audi's slowing me down.
Ooh.
Gets through ahead, but it's a great exit for Riva because Maynard is held up behind yet another GT3, and Riva's going to be alongside before they even get to the start-finish stretch. Can Maynard do anything on the brakes? No, he's already speed. Like you say, the Ferrari straight line speed just so dominant. Can Maynard do anything on the brakes to try and get back ahead? He's going to try it around the outside, but I think he knows it's not a fight to fight right now. Still 35 minutes to go in this race. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of race. You've got to get your car through before we're anywhere near the points being paid out. Close battle in GT3 here still, with one of the AM cars involved in this as well. Jose Carlos on the radio. That's Jose Carlos Villarejo, but race control saying that we can't hear him. We also can't hear him in the broadcast booth.
I can hear him.
Jeroen Winberg and in the pit lane. Picked up a meatball flag for this moment. Oh, over the curb and gets all loose. See the right rear suspension coming straight off on that Porsche. And yeah, that's going to be oh, and another BMW off behind. Is that this incident? No, this incident also under investigation here. We missed this. Ricardo Riva. Oh, and the Porsche GTP runs into the back of the Mercedes. We've got a big incident. We've got a big incident out on track. Oh, no! Maynard avoids, but James Rodison is absolutely wiped out. Let's have a look. To me, it looked like Samir Rashad was caught out by the GT3 ahead, rolling up the track, and got caught in a sandwich there, it looks like. Let's take one more look at it here. Samir, watch the BMW on the bottom. Comes up a little bit late. Yeah, wow. Nothing that Samir could have done there, I don't think, to be honest. It looks like a subsequent incident has been put under investigation. I think this is probably Rodison trying to get his car back to the pit lane. Yeah, and Melvin getting all caught up in it. It was a huge, huge crash. I was very surprised to not see more cars wiped out in that, to be honest.
Surprised Brody has no damage.
Yeah, should we? Let's take another look at that incident, actually, from the onboard of Brody Maynard, because that's going to be a very, very interesting run. And this is from Brody's perspective. Talk about threading the needle for Brody Maynard. That is very, very lucky to have got away with that. Brody teammates with Rodison will be obviously sad to see his teammate pick up that much damage, but will be pleased that it wasn't both of them out of the race. Callum Lux getting on the back of Matthias Weiten for the final podium position. Overall podium and pro podium here. And we're going to get the hypercar down the inside. We're going to get two hypercars down the inside. Just going to separate these two out of it. It's going to give Callum an opportunity, though, because Callum gets to the inside line. They're going to be side by side.
Yeah, I was about to say that it shouldn't affect the battle that much if they're both going wide, diving to the inside. So we're going to stay with them.
Brody Maynard on the inside of Callum Lux, and is that going to shake things up going on to the oval? Oh, Callum mega on the brakes there in the McLaren. Ricardo Riva and Samir Rashad are battling it out for P3. And Ricardo Riva stays ahead for now. Nico Lakaye off the road from the lead, I believe, of GT3. Or was at least in the top two. Yeah, was running second at this point, sorry. But what's gone wrong for Kiko Lakaye? In the BMW there, just behind the Mercedes of Daniel Morphy. Oh, gets loose on the exit of the bus stop. Clatters the wall. Hasn't picked up a meatball, but is entering the pits for repairs, so must be suspension damage on that car.
Definitely going to be suspension damage if you smack the wall like that, but I would not expect the car to spin in that fashion there.
Eamon Sholton trying to get the move done on Ben Gronevel for the AM podium.
Oh, Samir's got ahead of Riva.
Indeed he has. Let's take a look at how Samir Rashad got ahead of Ricardo Riva. It must have been just after we cut away to look at the stricken BMW, and that straight line speed of that Ferrari just pulls ahead. Yeah, Porsche can't do anything on the brakes either, unfortunately. Just going to have to try and stick with him and fight back. So that battle between Weiten and Lux has just become a battle for P2, worth bearing in mind. And they're 9 seconds ahead of Dominic Knockel as they run right now. And Daniel Morphy 6 seconds ahead out front. All coming together for Morphy. I mentioned it, Adrian, before you joined us in the booth, but Daniel Morphy, his car was chosen by a poll he put out to the drivers to choose his car, and they chose the Mercedes for him. So great to see that despite the fact he didn't choose that car, it was chosen by his rivals. He's still come out with a pretty decent performance package, at least for Daytona. Obviously, the track is a little bit unique compared to some of the other tracks. There's Viton still trying to find a way through here on the Jens Brothers competition. McLaren.
Dominic Naka has picked up a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision between the classes.
Try and find that. I can find Dominic Knuckle on my time. Find the car number might make it easy.
But currently running P4.
Go. It's that incident. And it keeps jumping to the wrong car for some reason. This is the incident with Dominic Knuckle. Ah, we saw this straight into the back of the Acura ahead. Not surprising to see that penalty being given. A big incident that we saw on the banking is still under investigation, by the way. We'll bring you an update when we hear one from race control.
Yeah, bigger incidents like that often take more time and more energy and more effort to rule on them, because you want to get it right. You don't want to. There could be a bunch of different factors that they are looking at. Speaking of looking at, Boise trying to make a move on his teammate into one.
And we got that must be a lapped McLaren behind, is it, trying to get through as well?
No, that is for position. The McLaren behind.
Is it a pro car? Is it a pro car down the inside?
It is a pro car, yes.
Oh, that's Albert Preem, P2 runner, getting a bit loose behind these two as well. The pro car is through on Bossy, and Bossy will just be hoping that the pro car gets through on his teammate pretty soon. Slows him down as well. Bossy dropping back a little bit here. Graham Cran now with the pro car behind him. Miguel Toledo trying to recover from a bit of a messy race. Can he do anything around the outside? He's going to stick with him now. Oh, nearly rose bumpers through turn 1. And we've got Hypercar behind trying to get through as well. County inside into the first horseshoe. He's going to go for it. And the Porsche opens the door to let the number 13 through. Not really his battle. To the pit lane, Brody Maynard for his second and final stop. Well, on his way out of the pit lane now, but this is that alternate strategy, so Brody will go to the end from here. How that works out for him. What isn't being black flagged? Gonna work out. Is that for that big incident that we saw? It's not. That's still under investigation. Yeah, is that for incident points then? Okay.
Check lap 24.
Usually, if it just says black flag, that's gonna be for incident points that drivers have accumulated.
Maynard
throughout
off
the
the
race.
road. Sorry for the interruption. Brody Maynard off the road. Take a look at what happened quickly. Just straight
Cold
on.
tires?
Yeah, cold tires. I wonder if he switched to a new set. Like he's escaped with no damage, despite being briefly inside the barrier.
Knowing Brody, I'd imagine he would have had taken tires at this point in the race. Yeah, so that's gonna be, yeah, if it's displaying like that, it's gonna be for incident points limit. I don't have my software open, so I can't see how many points he would have been at.
He's on. Yeah, he's just hit 17, so yeah, that will be a drive through for incident points. No one in the top battles in any class at risk of picking one of those up. If they do, we will of course let you know.
Team and Schultz trying to take a side by side into NASCAR 4, but the McLaren. Oh,
Dominic Knockel off the road, and that's an unsafe rejoin. Dominic Knockel, who was running in P4, but obviously he's got that 10-second time penalty to serve. I imagine it's going to be another time penalty. Apologies, Adrian. You said who was side by side and missed that one?
Oh, Schultz and Granovo was taking it side by side into NASCAR 4. However, the McLaren was just outpacing the Audi down the straight, but now as we look at it, the BMW of I'm bad with names. BMW's trying to get involved into this battle, and he does get past Schultz, and is now traffic management. Kleinberg taking side by side with the BMW. Kiko just behind these two.
Lakai on that recovery drive after picking up that time penalty. Matteo Lemre, GTP to GT3, given a 20-second time penalty. Currently runs P6. It will drop him, well, just about 2 places as they run right now. If he keeps stretching his advantage, it'll be 1 place at the end of the day. But remember, Brody Maynard, who sits P7, is yet to that second pit stop. We missed it, but Quinton Verdonk has already done his second stop now. And Albert Preem stays out, but Samir Shad and Ricardo Riva are both in for their penalty. Race control now looking at that big incident. I believe that's next on their list as I'm looking at the decisions that are being made. So we should hear something soon. Dominic Knuckle. Let's take a look at what happened to Dominic when he went off in turn 1. Lemre's been black flagged.
That's for incident points.
I think he might have I think he might have entered the pits with a slowdown to serve. Which is and we just missed it. Apologies for looking at what happened. Let's take another look at Dominic Knuckles' turn 1 incident. Too much speed. Drops it on throttle and just goes, but does let it roll back off the track. And I think it looks like he was trying to get it rotated on the edge of a track, and coming up over the curve kind of ruined any chance of that.
Yeah, it looks like he just misjudges how the car's going to handle with it on the grass, and unfortunately that will be an unsafe if
Yeah, it will be an unsafe rejoin penalty, I would have thought, by the time race control get to it. That back flag now for Lemeray. Matthias Viton jumped in the pit lane, is it, I believe? Or, no, we must have missed that one on track. Apologies. I'll try and find the replay of it. Matthias Viton getting past Callum looks. Oh, Callum jumped over a curve there, and Matteo just finds a gap and takes the opportunity to get ahead of the driver he'd been stuck behind for a long time in this race. Callum looks up to that point doing a great defensive job. Ben Groneveld side by side here with Michael Kallenberger. Groneveld in that McLaren.
The McLaren can drops back.
I think he drops back going into the bus stop to open it up a little bit more. Probably try for the exit here. Ben Groneveld on the way into turn 1. Can he find anything a little bit far back? McLaren closing up in the final stages of braking. A Ferrari hypercar. Just gonna have to try and find a way through though. Gonna separate out these two a little bit. We've got the leader coming up now as well. Albert Preem closed up a little bit in that final stop. Just a second separates our leaders now. Lakaye past Luca Picard. So that's just going to be on pit lane exit, I fear. Yes, there we go. It's a move done though. Carlos Villarejo in the pro class, just on the back of Anthony Caranta. Going to clear the AM driver, and he's going to find a gap down the inside into the first horseshoe, and Caranta has to open the steering wheel a little bit to give him room. Oh, spin! Contact there. Adrian, let's take a look at that. Because I believe Carlos was straight on the radio to request that to be looked at. Adrian, what do you think of this one?
I don't know what Carlos would be on the radio for. That is, he just moved them. So that's.
Let's take a look at the onboard. That's not a good one. Maybe it wasn't Carlos on the radio. Just saw the radio pop up and no voice. Assumed it was Carlos because that's the problem he's been having today. But yeah, he just moved him out of the way there. He needs to try and drive up the road a little bit now, I think, to avoid dropping back behind on any penalty. Nico Lacaille was running in the podium positions before a lack of lapse of concentration or a little bit of curb on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Sent him into a spin and into the barrier. Anthony Caranta getting close to Quinton Bosi. As the field just starts to space out with 10 minutes left to go in this session. Albert Preem still close to Quinton Verdonk out front, but that Ferrari straight line speed just able to keep him ahead.
1.1 seconds separates the leaders in the GTP, but now down to 8/10 as they go into one.
Oh, and really, really close now, the leaders, as the traffic gets in the way. Albert Preem needs to find a way through in the infield, in the Acura, if he wants any chance to fight for the win. This is as close as he's been all day to the leader.
Anyway, he's got a really good draft going into NASCAR 3. Can you keep that up on the back straight?
Oh, and he's going to have a look down the inside on the brakes, is he? No, can't get it done. But he's going to have to try and now hope for an opportunity into turn one.
Let's see. Oh! Huge crash in the GT3 field. Oh!
We go back and let's take a look.
Race control, please check.
Collect some of the GTPs as well.
Ramkram spins on the exit of the bus stop and doesn't hold the brakes, and it's a big wipeout. Multiple cars involved there. Luckily,
Stay
none of
with
our
one of the
leaders. Samira
Stay
Shadows
with one of
picked
the
up a
dragging
meatball
cars.
from it, though.
Yeah, involved is. Oh my god. It's collected by one of the GT3s.
Matteo Lemre
and
picked
also-
up damage ahead.
Also involved, I believe, is the GTP of Lemre. And how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars
A lot of meatballs.
involved in that.
Samir back out. He's not taking his fast repair yet. Same goes for Matteo. I think race control will feel these GTPs should have lifted a little bit more going into the yellow zone.
Tell you what, I I do not want to be in that Drakkeen debrief.
It's not been a good day for Drakkeen Racing, and like you said, that was the Drakkeen BMW in front, wasn't it, as well? Dominic Knockel and Michael Takeda battling it out with just a few minutes to go. We cut away from that lead battle, but Albert Preem still leads Quinton Vidal, but this is probably once again the closest that Albert Preem's been all day. But the Ferrari, just look at that, the Ferrari is gapping the Acura in a straight line with a toe.
That is absurd straight line speed.
Oh, and it's a spin for Albert Preem, but he keeps it going, and that was very, very dangerous for Albert Preem, who nearly lost the car, and Albert is going to back off here a little bit. Albert's had the pace the last couple of seasons, but just been moments like that that have cost him big time, and I think that'll be the moment for Albert to think, let's just back off, take the P2. We're 18 seconds ahead of Ricardo Riva now, who had to come in for, who didn't have to come in for repairs, of course. He avoided the incident. But the other two drivers around him not so lucky. Brody Maynard's been promoted to P4 because of that as well. Rodinson given a 10-second time penalty for an unsafe rejoin. That was when he had the damage, I think. Just going to go back. So yeah, that big incident, there was no action given other than for an unsafe rejoin, surprisingly.
No, that is I believe that's a different incident.
I don't think it is. I'm just looking at the... Here it is. This is what Rodinson was given the time penalty for. Help if we were looking at the right car. What Rodinson was given the time the drive-through for. Unsafe rejoin. Not quite sure. It must be for after this that he was given a penalty. Unless he'd already come back on the track slowly or something.
Oh, no, yeah, I recall he gets back on the racing surface.
Yeah, he gets back on the racing surface.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no penalty given for the incident itself, but Race Control looked at everybody involved in great detail. Ivan Veska, who's had a torrid day, penalty for 53 should be 20.
20 seconds time penalty for an unsafe rejoin. Yeah, that would make sense because...
Oh, no, he was given... Oh, I'm so confused now.
The message as
Brody
read is
Maynard
53.
unhappy about something going on in Speedway 4. Take a look. You picked up a slowdown out of the... Ah, that'll be why. Let's take another look from Brody's onboard. Okay, not sure who that was or what was going on there.
I saw
Team
a flash of
Scholten.
an orange GT that could be any number of cars.
Even Scholten. Not sure what's going on here.
With damage?
He'd already been off several times that lap. This is...
What?
Oh, look, he's already crabbing here.
Oh,
So let's take a look. This is earlier on, and this looks more like what's going to be our incident. Oh, loses it on throttle.
Ooh. It's the wall.
Right, rear
it's the
suspension
wall going down, it's
broken,
the
yeah.
rear suspension, yeah.
Callum looks... Sorry, trying to get back on the podium. Has Callum had to serve a drive-through or something with mist? I'm not sure what's happened here. Because he was fighting with Matisse earlier on, remember?
Yeah, but then he had the spin, but then...
Not sure.
No.
He had a long second stop, I think. Yeah, his second stop was about 10 seconds longer than the cars he was racing before. So that explains why he's dropped back here. And Knuckle given a 20-second time penalty for unsafe rejoin. That's the one we saw in turn 1 from the other competition. Two and a third minutes to go here. Just being sent a screenshot, which I assume what Adrian's laughing at. Yeah. Nicola Monti was inside one of the GT3s, but got away without damage somehow in the big wreck.
Was it Monty last season that was always near a big crash, never involved, and always getting away by the skin of his teeth?
Quite possibly. Trying to find the big incident again, so we can just try and work out what caused it. It's going to be this. It's cutting to the wrong car. Apologies, everybody, for this. So Bram gets loose and is just going to get collected, isn't he? Yeah, 1. And we've got 3 cars in the middle of a track. I think if Race Control had seen this live, we probably would have been given safety car as a black flag then. Bram Karan given a drive-through for not holding his brakes and causing a collision.
I am surprised it didn't cause a safety car.
I imagine if Race Control had seen it the moment it happened, it might have been a safety car.
They definitely would have seen it in live time as Albert almost spins. Oh my. They definitely would have seen it because you always have one screen displaying live tracks, live incidents, while other screens are preoccupied on replays and angles and stuff. So curious why the safety car wasn't called for that big shunt.
Albert Preem trying to chase down Quinton Verdonk, but I believe this is going to be white flag this time by. So Quinton Verdonk taking the white flag, so 1 to go for Albert Preem here. About just holding on to the car, taking the points. He's closing in on our leader, Quinton Verdonk, but we would expect that on the infield to be accurate.
Closing very rapidly, actually. Are you sure he's trying to hold station, get those points?
I think he's probably going to fight for it the whole way to the line, but it's going to be difficult with the straight line speed of the Ferrari that we've seen, unless Quinton Verdonk is going to get held up.
Traffic can play into Albert's hand a little bit.
We've got a couple of GT3s ahead, actually. Could at least get in the way, probably, I would imagine, on the way into the bus stop. Momentum difference between the GTP and the GT3. BMW ahead might hold up Quinton here a little bit. It's all good for Quinton, and that'll be a sigh of relief for Verdonk. Just going to have to run to the line now. It was a better exit for Preem because he is closing up a little bit, but now he's pulling away once again in Ferrari. We're so used to.
Blasted be that Ferrari straight line speed.
Flashes of lights as he comes across the line to win the first race of the season in GTP back at Daytona for season 10. And Quinton Verdonk, it's a little bit loose into turn 1 as he's weaving to celebrate that win. But Albert Preem will take P2. Sergio Sanchez Cachafiero comes across the line in P3 in GT3 Pro after recovering from that. I'm not sure if there is a penalty given for any of those cars, so we'll try and get that information as quickly as we can. Luca Picardi, on debut in AM, takes the win. We hear him on the radio, very happy with that. It was close in the end. Vesca, who had to do that recovery drive, comes home to finish P2 ahead of Ben Groneveld. Daniel Morphy and Matthias Weiss, our only podium sitters yet to come to the line. Ricardo Riva will finish P3 in GTP. Maynard comes home P4 after trying the alternate strategy, but it not quite going his way today.
Daniel Morphy having to do one more lap than the rest of the GT3 field.
Great race, Ivan. Great race. I really enjoyed.
Finally comes home to take the flag.
Daniel Morphy will be happy with that. As we said, he didn't choose this car. It was chosen for him. Matthias Weissman will come home P2. He had a disappointing return by his standards, although not disappointing by most driver standards, to the hypercar class a couple of seasons ago, but back in GT3 and back strong on his first race in the class to finish. So take that. Four. Give you an update on any penalties that will affect anything. Dominic Knockel has got 30 seconds of time penalties. That'll drop him down the order a little bit, but not off of any podiums. Down from P5, down quite a way actually. Quinton Bossy, James Rodinson, and Gamer have also got a few time penalties over down the field. If you want to see the full results, they'll be released on the website, linked in the description, andstall.racing. And if you've joined us for a broadcast today, unsure whether you want to join, there are seats still open. You can head over to andstall.racing, which I just said, as is linked in the description. For more information, head to the Season 10 page to look at what seats are available.
Pick up a seat. Come join us. We have fun here.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see that was a non-stop action race around Daytona. And if you're unsure about anything, head over to the Discord, also linked below. And all of our staff and any of our community as well will be able to answer any questions that you may have. All right, let's run you through the full race results. Remember, this is pending any penalties to be applied. Quinton Verdonk takes the race by 1 second in the end. After a full hour of racing, the leader's very, very close. Albert Pre in P2, Riva behind Maynard and the Sandford make up the top five. Shad, who was caught up in that late race incident, remember, home in P6, Van der Meulenbrucker in P7, Monty P8, Lemray P9 and P. GT3 Pro was won by Daniel Morphy. Podium sitters Matthias Weissman and Sergio Sanchez Cachafiero join him. They weren't all the lap down. That was the way that the checkered fell based off the overall race leader. Callum Lux comes home to finish in P4, Dominic Knockel P5, Kiko Lacalle P6, Casado in P7, Kellenberger P8, Miguel Cicada in P9, Jose Carlos Villarejo in P10, Senna Botkoven in P11, and Vessel Bukema in P12 with 11 laps down, and Dio Treville not taking the start. GT3 Am, Luca Picardi wins by 5 seconds ahead of Ivan Veska. Ben Groneveld in P3, Simone Bertolini in P4, Scholten P5, Caranta P6, Bossy P7, Vinbergen in P8, Rodison in P9, Frankran in P10, Melvin Gack in P11, and Marco De Vita down 12. Right, that's your full race results. As I said before, head over to our website for once the official results are posted, once Race Control have done all of their processing of any penalties and deals that come through. Thanks for joining me, everybody that joined us live. Thanks for joining me at Fox for this race. Hopefully we'll have you back at some point in the future, or Kirby if they're around. I'm going to take a look quickly, because I realised I said I would mention it, and I haven't really mentioned it, the calendar. So we're back next week for another race, but this time at Watkins Glen to accompany the iRacing 6 Hours of Watkins Glen. Then it's a break week before a Japanese doubleheader at Fuji Suzuka. Then we're off for 2 weeks, and we'll be back for Homestead Nürburgring, which will be our special 30-minute sprint races at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and Road America, a quadruple header off the season. All right, we'll see you all next week.